Welcome to today's edition of the Author's Corner, brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM The Word. I'm Roberta Foster, and today I welcome Mark Palm to Author's Corner. He is a missionary and founder of Samaritan Aviation, and we're going to be learning about the ministry, but also he's involved with a documentary called Saman Balus, the story of the Flying Canoe. It's produced by Samaritan Aviation, and Mark will tell us more about that as well. So, Mark, thank you so much for being with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Roberta. Great to be here.
Okay, so off air we were talking, and you have started Samaritan Aviation. It's a Christian charitable organization and is available for not-for-profit donations. So tell us more about this. It's something like celebrating a 25th anniversary.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how God's faithfulness in our journey. As a 19-year-old, I found myself living in remote communities of Papua New Guinea and seeing a need and hearing stories of people dying. People don't realize Papua New Guinea is the second largest island in the world. There's over 12 million people just on half the island, and there's 14,000-foot mountains. There's 840 languages just on that half, and so it's considered the last frontier. It's one of those places that people are still discovering new things, and so to find myself there, living with the people, hearing the stories, and understanding they can't get to the only hospitals a lot of times that are days away. There's a lot of water there, which as an aviator, that's where the vision for the float planes came in, and then there's this. It was very obvious there was not a clear gospel message and the understanding of God's grace. And so that really was where the vision for Samaritan came from. I'm personally a third-generation aviator. My grandfather was a World War II pilot, and I've got other military pilots in my family. And then my father was a minister. And so growing up with this aviation ministry focus in high school, my father went to Santa Cruz. We all moved there, and he started running a homeless mission, working with the less fortunate in that area. And as a teenager, I had the chance to work with people that were just desperate, people that others maybe had forgotten about, and really just give them value. And it didn't start with me standing on a pulpit preaching, but it started with me giving them some food. It started with me giving them a coat, the things that they needed. And then that gave me this opportunity to share who Jesus is and why I was there to help them and that God loved them. And so really that's kind of where I started in ministry as a teenager, and then down in Mexico building houses, seeing other cultures for the first time and really how most of the world lives. And God spoke to me down in Mexico, and I just felt him call me. And what I heard was, Mark, I want you to use your passion for people and aviation to share my love in a remote part of the world.
Wow.
And that moment changed my life. As a 16-year-old, I came back to California, and all of a sudden my dreams of being a military pilot and all of that shifted. And it was like, okay, God, what does that mean to go to the most remote places in the world to share your love? And that's when, a couple years later, I find myself in New Guinea, hearing stories. I fell in love with the people there, and felt like this is where God wants me to give my life to share His story in the most remote parts of the world, and to use aviation. It's hard to describe. When you're in an airplane and you're an hour away, or you're a 3-day trip without that airplane to the only hospital, and you have emergencies like pregnancy complications, malaria, tribal fighting, breech birth, kids, just general sickness outbreaks, snake bites, any type of emergency, you're literally days away. And those people, before we came, would just give up. And we heard story after story of people coming down, trying to make the 3-day trip and having their baby die 5 hours from the hospital. And so we felt like, look, if we could bring a float plane, that we could do that at no cost. That was the dream that God gave us. Not charge the people, but offer them a free service to go help them in their time of need, to change that 3-day trip into a 1-hour flight, and then use that time once we bring them back to the hospital with another villager that looks after them, to then have that moment to share Jesus. And so that's really was the initial model of Samaritan, and it's just been amazing. We started in 2000 by taking a photo in front of someone else's airplane and saying, "This is the vision God's given us." And it took us 10 years from that moment to actually, for me and my wife, Kirsten, and our 3 kids to land in Papua New Guinea. I shipped our first plane over in a 40-foot container, put it back together. I'm an aircraft mechanic as well, so put it back together, flew it in, and we began flight operations in 2010. And it's just been so amazing to see how God has used our team that started with a very small group, and to see how it's grown. Now 3 airplanes in country over in New Guinea. We have a 4th one here that's getting ready to go over there. And just to see families that have also been called that are coming, and the Papua New Guineans that we have on staff that are going into the hospital every day, sharing Jesus, sharing a clear gospel message with people in a culture where grace does not exist in their culture. And this idea of forgiveness is something that's so foreign. And so that's really the starting point, is this airplane offering a free service, a free gift. It's kind of their first look at grace that I think that they see, where we just say, look, if you can get in the plane, we can save you.
Wow.
You don't deserve to get in the plane. You haven't done anything. You don't owe us anything, but you just need to get in the plane. We can save your life. And that's really the first picture of God's grace to them, and gives us a starting point to share who He is and what He's done for us.
Well, today I have the pleasure of talking with Mark Palm. He's the founder of Samaritan Aviation, and we're going to get the details about the documentary that's coming out here in just a little bit. You're listening to Author's Corner, and I'm Roberta Foster. So you've used the word free a number of times, so tell our listeners how you fund this wonderful ministry.
Yeah, it's really a model that is not being used that I'm aware of anywhere else, for sure, in Papua New Guinea. But we just felt like the people in these remote villages don't have resources where we're at.
Right.
There's no mining or resources that they can sell to make money, and they're living, to describe it, in bush houses that are really, when I say bush houses, that's what I mean. There's no running water out there where they live. There's no electricity. There's no infrastructure. And so these people are living on a river that's 700 miles long, that rises and falls up to 20 feet in just a few days. And so all the houses are up on stilts because they're flooded. The area is flooded half the year. And so you're working with those people. And so we felt God saying, just trust me, you guys have got to, you can get in there, get these people back. And so that's been our model, and it's been amazing to see people step up. And about 80% of our funding comes from USA donations, comes through monthly supporters, comes through grants, through foundations. We have about 13 churches that are behind us as well around the country. And it's been amazing to see that faithful giving over the years. And then we also, about 20% of our funding comes from Papua New Guinea. So the government over there helps fund us through grants for the flights that we do. And all of our staff actually raise their own support as well. Okay. And so that allows us to use the funds that come into Samaritan to go straight to the ministry and to help fund the operations. And so 15 years in country this year, and we've never had to charge anyone for a flight. Yeah. And we're so grateful for the faithful donors and partners that we have here in the States.
So, Mark, what's one of the hardest parts of the ministry you're involved in?
One of the challenges, the biggest challenge we have is getting the right staff over there. The vision is there, the need is there, but getting quality people that are committed to following God's call in their life to move over there for a couple of years at a time, to share their gifts and skills and passions and to serve people. That's as we continue to grow, that's become our biggest challenge. We need pilots, we need aircraft mechanics. A lot of our pilots are aircraft mechanics as well, but we need staff. We have a big project right now that we're building 8 houses, a training center, and we need a coordinator on the construction side. And so there's a lot of needs there on our website, SamaritanAviation.org. you can go visit that, and there's an area there that says, how do I get involved?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the jobs that are needed? And we'd love to have people that feel called and want to know more to check that out and reach out to us. But in the P&G side, obviously funding's a big challenge. When you don't charge for flights, and your flights have gone up 40% in the last few years, as we've added an extra airplane, as we've added more staff, and as we've begun expanding to the other side of the island, then that's where that monthly income needs to increase. And so I would say staff and funding is our two biggest challenges.
Sure.
As we continue to move forward to reach more people over there and to share Christ with more of those in the remote communities.
So this holiday season, Samaritan Aviation is hosting a free screening of a brand new documentary called Saman Balus, the story of the Flying Canoe, that goes behind the scenes of what it takes to save these villagers. Tell us more about the documentary, how it came to be, and how people can view it.
Yeah, we're really excited about the film. We've been showing it in limited locations around the country this year. And it really takes you behind the curtain of the ministry that we do with these airplanes in the communities. You get a really good glimpse of our staff families, kind of even some of it is like before they got to go, and then once they went, and kind of following one of our family's journeys. You're able to see the patients, the villages. You're able to see exactly what we do. Where we've come from, what we do now, and where we're going. And so I'm really, for me, the goal for the film has always been, how do we inspire the next generation of people willing to go to the ends of the earth to share Jesus? And really my passion is you don't have to go to New Guinea, but we should all be doing something to change the world where we're at. And so hopefully as people watch this, that they will be inspired to look around them and say, what can I do in my community? Am I called to go across the world to share Christ? Or am I called to walk across the street to change a life? And so that's really the goal for me, is that people will see how God can use a vision. He gave us a vision. He gave people that came around us. And through that, we've been able to start Samaritan Aviation and see communities change, lives change, generations change now through us responding to the call that God's given us. And so I think the film gives a very clear picture of the culture, the struggles, and how we can share Jesus with those people in their area of need in those remote places in the world.
And so this is going to be released publicly, as I understand it. So how can people make a connection to see it?
Yeah, we're excited. December 4th, we have our worldwide streaming event. It's a one-time streaming event, so it'll be next week or on December 4th, 7 o'clock Central Time. You can go on our website, SamaritanAviation.org. Scroll down, you'll see a place where you can sign up to see the movie and get a link to it. And we would love for you to join it, for you to get your friends to see it. If you know anyone who's maybe wants to be a missionary, or you know anyone who's interested in aviation or just service, I would really encourage you to get on there, log in, get the link, and join the live stream. There'll be one of our missionary families from Papua New Guinea will be on. One of our advisors, who's actually a Papua New Guinean, who's the ambassador to Switzerland, will be on there. And my wife and I, Kirsten and I, will be on there as well, but just to answer questions, to introduce the film. So we'd love to meet you and see you December 4th for this film. SamaritanAviation.org is the place to go to get all the information.
Fantastic. So one more time, I've been talking with Mark Palm, the founder of Samaritan Aviation, about the documentary Saman Balus, the story of the Flying Canoe, and that alone is interesting, so you'll want to check that out. So you've mentioned your website. Mark, tell us again the details of watching the documentary.
Yeah, you can go to SamaritanAviation.org. Scroll down, you'll see a link to get your free tickets, and you'll receive a link to watch the film. It's December 4th, 7 o'clock Central, and we're super excited. This will be worldwide. We'll have viewers from around the world joining us. to hear God's stories and to be inspired by what He's doing in Papua New Guinea.
I like that you said it. It's God's stories. So one more time, the documentary is Saman Balus, the story of the Flying Canoe. I've been talking with Mark Palm, the founder of Samaritan Aviation. Mark, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Roberta. Take care.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's interview or would like to hear it again, share it with someone else. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform or through kneo.org. So join me again next time on Author's Corner. I'm Roberta Foster.